Do you like getting juggled? If so, I'd recommend that you don't continue watching this video, but if not, then I have a few useful tips that may help you. I'm G5 Cosmos for Game 5 Smash, and in this video I'll be going over everything you need to know about how to land in Smash Ultimate. For starters, when you're in the air and trying to avoid being juggled, you have the three main options: double jump, air dodge, and attack. Each of these has specific uses and applications that we'll go over in just a bit, but the most common issue that players have when landing is not what option they choose, but when they choose it. See, it's very easy to get used to opponents who swing mindlessly at you when you're in the air and then develop a habit of mashing your favorite defensive option every time you get launched. But at higher levels, good players are going to catch on and wait for you to panic so they can swiftly punish. Whether you're playing a seasoned tournament veteran or your friend who's constantly asking for K rule buffs, there are some simple steps you can follow to break these kinds of habits and land better in general. What you want to do is conserve your resources. If you're in the air far away from your opponent and not in immediate danger of a follow-up, there's no reason to use any defensive option, as you can react to the situation getting scarier. Then if your opponent jumps towards you or you start drifting closer to them as you fall, you can react and go for something. So what should you go for? Well, there isn't an obvious best option for every scenario, but here's some info to help you understand how you can use your options better. If you've been hit above your opponent and you anticipate that they may attempt another follow-up that isn't fast enough, you can use your double jump to get out of the opponent's unreactable range. Anytime that you find yourself high up and descending and you see your opponent start coming after you, you can go for a fast fall neutral air dodge. Neutral air dodge, which is done by simply inputting an air dodge with no direction held while pressing shield, has very low landing lag, so fast falling and then immediately neutral air dodging lets you zoom down to the ground with intangibility as you descend, and only a tiny punishable window upon landing, which the opponent will have to hard read in order to punish. Directional air dodging is also useful to mislead your opponent as to your landing destination. You can do this by drifting one way and then directional air dodging the other way at around full hop height, or onto a nearby platform. Depending on your character, a fast attack can be a great landing tool as well, again used once your opponent is within unreactable range. Moves with quick frame data and large hitboxes below you are great for this, such as Yoshi Nair and Cloud Down Air. If you see your opponent shielding as you fall towards them, you can opt to space any aerial conventionally, but you do want to beware of parries and out of shield punishes as your opponent may be baiting you to hit their shield. If you still have your double jump, you can consider baiting them by jumping right before you hit the ground near their shield, to hopefully catch a whiffed action and punish with a falling aerial, or simply go for a tomahawk grab. If your opponent is staying on the ground and not committing to anything besides movement as you're landing, it's very likely they're looking for a whiff punish in anticipation of you trying to land on them with an aerial. In times like this, it's often best to simply land with no action at all, and either shield, spot dodge, roll, jump, or dash right after you land if the opponent runs towards you. Don't forget that if you're in the tumble animation, landing will force a tech situation or a knockdown if you miss the tech. So if you haven't already cancelled your tumble with a jump, you can do so with a fast attack right after being launched, or a land by inputting an aerial right before you land to avoid the tech situation. If the opponent is running towards you before you make it to the ground, then you still may want to throw out a hitbox to fend off their attempt at attacking. You just want to be careful not to fall into another common landing habit that I call magnet landing, where you always attempt to land on the opponent with an attack. It's extremely important to keep in mind that no matter how right any of these options may be for the situation, choosing the same action multiple times is very likely to get you punished, so stay unpredictable unless you know there's no way your opponent can take advantage. Another crucial factor in landing is drift. Good players are going to move on the ground to follow your drift and track down your landing location, and in these moments the concept of dash dancing applies in the air as well. If you drift away from your opponent, they'll usually run towards you, and if you drift towards your opponent, they'll usually either stand still or start retreating to stay below you. You can use these responses to attempt to manipulate your opponent and land safely. For example, you drift towards your opponent first, and they run back. Then you reverse your drift and find a nice spot to land in the space that your opponent just gave up by running in reaction to your first drift. It's almost as if you're pushing them. For those new to the channel, I offer effective and affordable coaching options with a wealth of experience under my belt, coaching many levels of play from players just picking up the game to PGR rank number 21 wishes. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe to Game 5 Smash and click the bell to stay up to date with more tech and tips.